Over the weekend, a coalition of Niger Delta militant groups restated readiness to fight for a Niger Delta republic if the federal government failed to ensure devolution of power and fiscal federalism. The vow comes on the back of the renewed clamor for restructuring by several ethnic groups. With us in the studio right now to discuss this is the public affairs analyst Owolabi Falana. Many thanks for joining us. Very well. Another call coming from the Niger Delta. We had that of Biafra. We've heard that of Ududua Republic. Now Niger Delta Republic. What will be left of Nigeria afterwards?
Oh, well, we are going to have a disunited country where a lot of people will be agitating for secession and all that. It's not going to all go well for our country on the long run. But I think we need to look at the foundation of all these problems. The 1999 Constitution had some flaws. So, but we wanted the military to just get out. So that's why a lot of people just felt that let's also have democracy, let's get out for this military rule and all that. But now we need to look at the existential reality, what is on ground now. We need to amend our laws and so on and so forth. If you look at the last election at the Senate, 48 senators voted against devolution of power and 46 senators voted in support. In the House of Representatives also, 210 rep members voted in support, while 71 voted. But all those figures were short of the required two-thirds. So a lot of people are scared, especially from the north, the northern legislators. They are scared that if you have more of devolution of powers, maybe to finance all these institutions that the states will have to come up with will be difficult. So I think if we are going to implement the devolution of power, we have to. I
won't let you gloss over that, but I think Ike is gunning for his question, and I will come back to that.
Okay.
Now, the assembly, said that it will revisit the issue sometime in September or so, after it was, struck out in the first meeting. Do you think that anything? Are you confident that anything good will come out when they revisit it in September?
I think I'm confident that something good things will come out, because if you look at it, the APC as a party have set up a committee headed by, I think, Nasir El-Rufai. Then the Northern Governors Forum also set up a committee headed by Aminu Bello Tambuwa. I think they will look at some things. On the long run, devolution of power is going to be the way out, but I must warn that it's not going to be absolute. We should not think that because we are going to have devolution of powers, then the development will just come, because we have to settle the issue of bad leadership at the grassroots level. So I think by the time they realign their forces, they discuss amongst themselves. By the time the National Assembly comes back from the recess, I think they will pass. You
have a penchant of tying one thing to another, but let's see if we can untangle and tie one of them, the issue of the northern senators you just mentioned. Now, can you expatiate on that? That they are afraid that if there's devolution of power, institutions won't be financed? Is that what you're saying?
For example, let's take community policing as an example.
Yes.
The Southwest have been clamoring for community policing for years now, but a lot of people are saying that the governors will use the community policing as a tool, to terrorize people from other places. For example, look at what happened over the weekend in Delta State, in River State, where a governor revoked the CFO of a particular, a four-star hotel, because he felt that his political opponents were patronizing the hotel. You can imagine if such a governor has more powers, to the one he has already, controlling the education system, controlling the policing, controlling everything. You can imagine what is going to happen in such states. So those are the fears of some of these legislators from different parts of the country.
Right, but what is going on at the moment? Does it not really, bother, you as, someone watching events? The great philosopher of Ikene origin, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, did say that federalism is the only way for Nigeria, true federalism is the only way for Nigeria to go, to be able to have quick economic and, of course, development as well. Many years after, we are back at what you talked about. What does this signify? What does this say really of leadership?
Okay, I agree with you that we need more of devolution of power, but I disagree that we don't have true federalism. What we have is federalism, but the scale is what we're talking about right now, because you can see Lagos State government is controlling the waterways after taking federal government to court. The acting president now was the Attorney General of of Lagos State then, always having cases to fight at the Supreme Court.
In terms of federalism, I think we're looking at fiscal federalism, really.
Yes.
That's I think, is the heartbeat of this discussion.
Yes.
How I generate my money, how I spend my money should be at my own discretion. I don't have to work for the federal government. I think that is the heart of the discussion, really, in terms of federalism.
I agree with you that we need more fiscal federalism, but there is a caveat. We need also good leaders to manage these funds. You can imagine Akwa Ibom State government having 800 billion naira in addition to what they have now. Ekiti State having additional 400 billion in budget size on a yearly basis. Then we'll move away from the question of fiscal federalism by the time we have it to the question of how do we elect good leaders to manage it. I'm in support of fiscal federalism, but I also need us to look at the area of who are going to manage these funds when these states have more money, when they have more powers. You can see no state conducted a local government election and an opposition. In Lagos State, 57. Badagry people are conservatives. A lot of, they tend towards other parties. No state conducts a local government election with an opposition party winning even local government. So you can imagine if we have more of devolution of power, more money to those states, what will happen? Those are the things we also need to look at, so that we look at the both together.
So we should have leaders, political philosophers, thinkers with vision, who look towards the future. But let me ask this: with the agitation coming up in the Niger Delta, yes, where they are saying it has to be devolution of power, or Niger Delta in a region. Will this not, do you not think that this might lead again to disruption of, oil activities in the Niger Delta region?
Good. I think the case is clear now. From 68 items in the exclusive list, the Senate is taking 9 out of it. So including the state police and all that. If they are able to achieve all that, let's try it. Let's give it a try. Let's vote for devolution of power to add those items to the concurrent list. Then the next 5 to 10 years, let's see the difference. Let's see what will happen. By 2019, we will have spent 20 years democracy. So I think we need to have more of devolution of power. But while we are having that, we should have social activists, a lot of organizations. We should have powerful institutions watching all these powerful governors that are going to actually implement all these policies. Because devolution of power is one thing. How do we implement it is another.
Okay. We have to leave it there, but I hope we have not glossed over this issue, because you remember Niger Delta is also saying, Pandef is also saying that the talk with the federal government is not making a headway, that they may have to renege on their promises in terms of peace and production. And now this is another call coming from the Niger Delta. I hope we are not sitting on a keg of gunpowder, really. But we'll leave it there. Many thanks for your time on TVC News Hour. We'll go on a short break now and return with more. Join us again.